Black Pine Animal Sanctuary offers permanent refuge to exotic animals of all sorts and is supported solely by visitor programs, donations, and events. And here to tell us more is one of my favorite guests, Lori. Just thanks for coming back, first of all.
Thanks for having me.
So let's just talk for people that don't know what Black Pine Animal Sanctuary is all about.
Sure.
What you're all about.
What we do. Okay. Well, Black Pine is a nonprofit, largely volunteer-run organization. We are a charitable organization, and we provide refuge to displaced, captive-raised exotic animals, things like lions and tigers and bears, for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Now we're looking there. You said these are recent.
Yes,
residents?
That's right. This is a photograph of Nefertiti, which is a tiger that came to us from Colorado at the end of December on our first examination, just post-quarantine, before we were going to move her into general population. We realized that she had really, really bad teeth. All of her large meat-cutting canine teeth were broken and roots were exposed. And so these are photographs of the Peter Emily International Veterinary Dental Foundation that came out, and they do this charitable work in sanctuaries and zoos that is strictly dental work.
I'm just blown away by, all I look at that, and all I see is dollar signs. Well,
Right,
compassion
exactly,
and
yes.
dollar signs.
Right.
That has to be expensive.
Yeah, normally this would cost potentially multiple thousands of dollars. And what the Peter Emily Foundation does is they are also a nonprofit organization. They're based out in Colorado, and they actually travel the country and they provide these services absolutely free of charge. All of the dental work is done on their dime. They have student tuition fees that pay for that, and many, many dentists who just donate their time, veterinary dentists.
Right.
And then we're responsible for the anesthesia, and our team is able to do that.
We talk a lot about this. Sometimes I feel like when you hear these stories of on the news of so-and-so exotic pets found,
Right,
that
yeah.
a lot of times those animals, after being horribly mistreated, end up being treated well at
Yes.
Black Pine.
That's exactly right, and that's what December was about. There were it was probably the largest single rehoming of large exotic animals that's ever taken place at one time. Over the course of 3 months, there were 110 animals that were addressed, and 75 of those were tigers that were moved to sanctuaries across the country.
I don't want to get this too political, but
Yeah.
we've talked in the past. Are the laws in Indiana keeping up with people's behavior, or what we want to discourage?
I would put us in the middle of the pack.
Okay.
So we're not the worst of the worst. There are still 5 or 6 states that have no regulations for
Wow.
this sort of animal ownership. We do have a permitting process. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, I think we've talked before. I can't have clotheslines in my neighborhood, but some of these exotic animals would be fine. If people are watching this, you have much more than big cats.
Yes, we do. We have about a dozen primates, smaller, lesser primates. We also have a lot of parrots. We have 15 birds in residence. We have reptiles. We have an alligator that's nearly 11, 12 feet long now. About 55 to 60 different species, and just shy of 100 animals in residence right now.
But you don't consider yourself a zoo.
Right.
Explain the difference. Obviously, people love the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo. They have
Sure.
a different mission than what you have.
Well, one of the primary differences is we have no breeding programs. So we don't breed animals, we don't buy animals, we're not interested in diversification of our exhibits. Education we share with zoos, the ability to visit and be open to the public we share with the zoo community, the level of care I hope we share with most of the accredited zoo community. But yeah, our missions are just different. We're really driven by the need for animals to find a place to live. That's the primary difference.
All right, but the good news is there is a chance to visit and to see these animals up close as they're being cared for the rest of their lives. We're going to talk about that, about visiting Black Pine. You can find out more on their webpage, blackpine.org. They're also on Facebook as well. We will be right back on Insight.